Donald Trump is bruised and battered as a result of the reactions to his wacky words at a Fox town hall today, and maybe that explains all that bronze cover-up. The pummeling from fact-checkers is taking its toll, and I'll have the blow-by-blow for you next, and Kamala Harris's counterpunch to his most bizarre claim.
Oh, I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't hear that every day.
I'm the father of IVF, so I want to hear this question.
Yeah.
First, let's set the stage with CNN senior reporter and fact-checker Daniel Dale, who posted this. Donald Trump, who is not in fact the father of IVF, in vitro fertilization, made at least 19 false claims in his one-hour Fox News Women's Town Hall. The article could be published so fast because the vast majority of these lies are long-debunked repeat lies. I've curated a few of the best of the worst lies, along with Dale's debunking, and then I'll share Harris's response to the whopper. This first one addresses one of Trump's most frequent lies since he's been campaigning against Harris. It's the title he's given her that he uses when demonizing immigrants. It's something that always goes unchallenged during interviews.
We don't want murderers. We don't want drug dealers. We don't want human traffickers. We don't want people from prison that are being let out after murdering somebody. We don't want to have that. We want to have great people come in. They were talking about the border and like they're trying and all this. Look, he's the worst president in history, and she's the worst vice president. She's worse than him. She's worse than him. And she was made the border czar, and she's destroying our country.
And the debunking says Biden never made Harris border czar, a label the White House has always emphasized as inaccurate. In reality, Biden gave Harris a more limited immigration-related assignment in 2021, asking her to lead diplomacy with El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Trump's next lie was set up by a question about Roe versus Wade.
Why is the government involved in women's basic rights?
Right, good. I think it's great, and I'm glad you asked it. For 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart. Every legal scholar, the great ones, every lawyer, but the Democrats, the Republicans, the liberals, the conservatives, they wanted it brought out of the federal government and brought back to the states for a vote of the people. And like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother. I strongly believe. You know, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't. It's a very small percentage, but you have to follow your heart. But you have the exceptions. But what we were able to do is through really the courage of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do this after years and years of turmoil. Now it's back in the states. The states are voting for it.
And fact-checker Dale reported, not even close to true that everybody wanted Roe overturned or that the Democrats did. A large majority of Americans and an overwhelming majority of Democrats wanted the Supreme Court to preserve Roe in 2022, according to numerous polls. Democrat support for Roe exceeded 80% in many polls and 90% in some polls. And now for that bizarre claim by Trump, Dale's debunking, and Harris's reaction. Trump declared that he is entirely in favor of IVF, but Trump also falsely claimed, "I'm the father of IVF." This is just nonsense. The first child conceived through IVF was born in 1978. Trump clearly had nothing to do with it.
Well, about last night. So, Donald Trump, I found it quite bizarre, actually called himself the father of IVF. And if what he meant is taking responsibility, well, then yeah, he should take responsibility for the fact that 1 in 3 women in America lives in a Trump abortion ban state. What he should take responsibility for is that couples who are praying and hoping and working toward growing a family have been so disappointed and harmed by the fact that IVF treatments have now been put at risk. What he should take responsibility for is what we have been saying across the country since he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court and they undid the protections of Roe v. Wade. What he should take responsibility for is that he's been trying to take away protections against pre-existing conditions for example, women who are survivors of breast cancer. So let's not be distracted by his choice of words. The reality is his actions have been very harmful to women and families in America.
And now, just to put a bow on Trump's bizarro day in front of a Fox audience, Kamala Harris's team posted this about the final clip I'll share. The host said the family of Amber Thurman, who died after not receiving urgent care needed for an infection under Georgia's abortion ban, is speaking ahead of this town hall. And Trump, who is surely aware of the story, replied with this despicable thought.
Amber Thurman's family have come out on a press call, and they're doing what's called a prebuttal to our town hall right now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah? And I want to
Get better ratings, I promise.
If you're like me, you're old enough to remember when the position of fact checker was an inside job at a news organization, not a forward-facing position, and campaigning was mostly politicians speaking about their own policies. But Donald Trump has changed the game, and his lies come so fast and furious and are repeated so often that a reporter just said, "That was easy, these lies were already fact-checked." And the opposing party candidate, instead of sharing her vision for the future, has to address the latest lie as soon as she exits an airplane. We have reached a critical point where it's not enough to debunk the falsehoods, we have to debase the false prophet. I'm Dan, thanks for watching, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.